traveling, working, and living full-time in my Class B van along with my dog, Willie Nelson. I'm Milo, and this is MiloTalks. There is a Buddhist expression: before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Van life is similar in some ways. Before van life, technical issues, problems with internet and connectivity, customer service. After van life, continued problems with customer service and connectivity. The van and traveling in the van in some ways make these obstacles even more taxing. I arrived at the campground Friday and was informed that it'd be given a couple days to get settled in, which allows me time to check out the area, get Willie's kind of settled in, but also making sure that I'm able to still work because, as many of you know, I still have a 20-hour-a-week position as a remote employee. So my hang up whenever I do anything is, do I have connectivity? Do I have good service? And how much data do I have so that I can do that job? And I found a snag. Like shortly after I got here, I realized that both of my cell service providers had poor service up here. So I started asking around, seeing who everybody had. And unfortunately, it was the big monsters. It's AT&T and Verizon. And I just don't want to submit to these service providers because of their year-long contract. Perhaps I just have commitment issues. I just don't like the idea of being locked into something for a year when I really don't do anything for a year. That just seems ridiculous. And it's expensive. But in order for me to work, I realized I just might have to submit. But I wasn't about to give up yet. I made some calls and I did order an AT&T hotspot, but after a customer service issue with my address I gave them having a problem and the woman on the phone being unable to help me, I became so frustrated that I just canceled the entire thing. And then I remembered last summer I bought a Verizon hotspot that I never configured because, and at the time I don't remember why. I just remember being in the van, frustrated with it, put it in a drawer and put it away. So I went and grabbed it, tried to get it to work online. It wasn't working. And I'm like, yeah, this is why you shoved it in a drawer all those months ago. So I call Verizon. They inform me that they can't help me because they weren't the point of contact for the cell. I bought the Verizon hotspot at Best Buy. So I went to the Best Buy online support and I had a chat with a woman who basically said it was better for me to watch a YouTube channel to explain the process than it was for her to explain it to me. Blood boiling, seething, because at this point it's hours. Like, I'm summing this up for you, but this has been hours into a Sunday afternoon trying to figure out a way to get service. Realizing that the local Best Buy store is an hour and a half drive. And I need to get all this up and running by Monday. I do one more search. I look on my maps for cell phone service stores, and I find a Cricket store in town, 3 miles away. They open at 10 o'clock on Monday. So I gave them a call Monday morning and asked if they had a hotspot and if it would work up at the place I'm working. They felt that it would. But they also told me I could return the item in 7 days. And I said, okay. So Cricket is not a company I would have even thought about. I used to think they just did old people phones because I thought that's what they were. So I had no idea that they really were a viable option. So I go into the store. They've got a hotspot. I purchase it. I'm pleased with the price. I'm pleased with the agreement. And it's going to save me much more than if I'd gone with Verizon or AT&T. And then I test it, and it's piss poor. It's poor. And I show the guy, look, this isn't great, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to test it. And I'm going to test it at my campground. And if it doesn't work, I'm coming back. He said, not a problem. So I tested it in the parking lot, still poor. Then I drove up tested it at the campground, and wouldn't you know it, it worked. It worked. It worked great. I don't even understand it. I'm further from town, but for some reason, it was kicking butt. So it was not as good as my co-host's AT&T connection, but it was still really good, and it's going to work, and that's really all that matters. And speaking of my camp co-host, Chuck. This is Chuck's second year as camp hosting up here, and apparently he is a medically retired train conductor, meaning he was injured at work and had to give up his job after 25 years. So he went from having his whole life kind of planned out to no longer having a plan. He sold everything, bought an RV, and has been camp hosting in the summer months in Colorado and spending his winter in the South with family. Chuck has a pretty laid-back attitude, and overall, he's really kind of a nice guy. But I have 5.5 months to figure it out, and that may be completely different after such time. But so far, yeah, he's really nice. I don't know the full extent of the job yet because it's just a few days before I actually start. But there's going to be basically a lot of customer service going around, and not the kind where I get to tell someone just go online and Google it. So I actually will be face to face with people, which is a much better experience for them, I'm sure. I guess I get to make sure that they have what they need. We sell firewood, so if they want to have a fire, and I get to help people who are probably new at this possibly figure out how to set things up. There is bathroom duty and shower cleaning duty, but it's only once a week, so that hopefully isn't going to be terrible. I'm hoping not to have any major things happen on the days I have to clean those areas, and I hope those only happen on Chuck's day. Poor Chuck. But even after all the technical problems that took my entire day up on Monday trying to resolve, and again, still, I'm not 100% up, but I'm 90% up and operational. I'm thankful to still have this life. And I understand that even with this life, as long as I want employment, I'm going to have to still chop the wood and carry the water. Or in other words, fight with technical support and customer service at digital companies because they make me so angry. If you're watching the YouTube channel, and I hope you are, because if you're only listening to this, then you're missing the painting demonstrations that I've added on top of this. And what you'll see is that the painting I started was one thing and then kind of turned to mud and then turned into something else. And I guess I kept going because that's pretty much how I was feeling this weekend. Started off with a great idea, and then it just kept getting more challenging. Things were working out. Things were not working out the way I wanted it to. And then I got in a mess. So I just kept pushing through. But this is what my life is. Sometimes it's a haphazard mess, but there's something pretty in all of it. I guess that's just kind of the way I am. I just keep pushing through, make it work, and make it into something that just might be frameable, or at least laughable. It's not the prettiest painting, but it was something. And if nothing else, it helped to steady my mind in the very stressful circumstance. Because the truth was, I was not going to just quit the campground hosting just because I couldn't get Wi-Fi. If I had had to bow down and take the AT&T or Verizon option, of course I would have, but I would have been grinding my teeth the entire time. But found a workaround, at least for now. So as of right now, the Cricket's working. I'm up and operational for the most part. I have one small hiccup. It's very technical. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm working it out, and I'm thankful. Oh, by the way, it snowed. It's freezing. It's cold. Willie had a great time. He loved it, and I'll be happy when the weather turns nice. The campground is clean and neat, quiet, because it's snowing, and nobody came up here, and it's Mother's Day weekend. I look forward to the people and the job. So next week, I'll hopefully be able to tell you all about it and tell you more about the people who come and camp here. It should be very interesting. Go see everything. Thank you for listening to MiloTalks. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at MiloTalks or email me at milotalkstostrangers@gmail.com.